4MK ham radio. Um, Getting a little bit of a late start. We've been having some. I apologize for this camera shaking. My table's just not working out for me right here on this counter. But anyway, appreciate everybody coming by if you do come by, and I'm gonna leave this live up for everybody to watch for later. But I've gotten everything outside, and I'm gonna start going through and doing some troubleshooting videos with everything about different antennas, different methods of how I've went through different things with all the different problems and the issues. There's just been so many little tiny things that's caused issues that I've just like I didn't know where to begin. So what we're dealing with here right now, and I'll show you a little bit of what's going on. You know, right here I've got my TS590SG. It's a brand new radio. I got the Kenwood. I mean the oh, that's over there. The Yazoo FT-DX101, and it's new. And then I've got the old Kenwood TS570, which was my first radio. And I have the Palstar HF Auto tuner. And the Palstar tuner, by far, absolutely flawless, works perfect. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about something. I got a MaxCon 10. Well, it's a MaxCon off-center dipole wire antenna outside. And off-center dipole, it works from 10 to 160 meters. Okay. Now the problem that I'm having is, as long as I'm not running this amplifier, there ain't a problem. I can take the Kenwood or the Yazoo, I can take and do either one, and I can take and run either one of those radios, as long as I'm not running that amplifier. Now that amplifier, again, that is the Ameritron ALS 1306. It's 240 volts. It's solid state, no tune, 1.2 kilowatts, and it does 160 through 6 meters. It is a MOSFET amplifier. Okay? Now, the power supply is down here on the bottom. It's got like a 6-foot power cord for it, and then it plugs into the 220 down below. But what I'm trying to beat around the bush here about is I said I can run everything in my shack. Well, I took and I troubleshooted everything that I was up against. And what I've done is I've took and went through every single piece of coax, anything that a piece of coax went through. I started at the antenna, made my way into the shack. I came in here, I checked each piece as I went and kept connecting the pieces all the way through the whole system. Now this, if you haven't got one of these, I highly recommend you having one of these, because this right here will take and make your life a lot better, because it'll help you find any kind of issues that could possibly didn't even know that was on there. Good people too, by the way. The Ameritron 1306 now for about 2 months has pretty much about drove me into asylum. I have about lost my last ever living nerve with the Ameritron 1306. Now, I still feel like Ameritron makes good amplifiers. I do. But after testing everything from the antenna all the way into the shack, I didn't have no kind of shorts. I checked every single thing that I could check. And everything passed the test all the way into here, all the way to the radio, through the switch, everything fine. So then I think, well, I'm going to test everything with an SWR analyzer. Well, once I started checking everything with the SWR analyzer, everything checked good, and I kept coming in here. And then I started running tests and checking each item. And when I get to this right here, this Ameritron 1306, my problem is between it and going into the tuner. Now the tuner I checked, the tuner's fine, no problems. The thing that gets me is I can take a Yazoo and I can drive about 22 watts, 30 watts into the amplifier. And I can tell you this much. And I got it wrote down right here. And I'm gonna tell you what's going on. With 30 watts drive, and this is with this tuning the antenna, the feed line. It ain't really tuning the antenna. If y'all think it tunes the antenna, then I'd like to see that. But anyway, they call it an antenna tuner. Why, I have no idea. All it's doing is tuning the feed line between here and here. On 80 meters, I started out. 30 watts drive on 80 meters. When I tuned up, I had a 1.0 SWR. Amplifier at 30 watts drive, 775 watts. So I went to 40 meters. Got a 1-to-1 SWR. It did 569 watts. I get to 17 meters, got a 1.0 SWR. With 33 watts of drive, I got 533 out. Went to 15 meters, had a 1-to-1. Same amount of drive, 33 watts. I had 601 watts I got out of it. Got to 12 meters, had a 1.0 SWR, 824 watts. Same thing, 33 watts of drive. I get down here to 10 meters. 10 meters. I get down here, I put 35 in it because I already know that when I tried 33, it kicked off. So I put 35 in there. Oh, wow, I got 900 watts out. With only 35 watts of drive? Well, then I dropped it down to 30 watts. The second I key the amp up with the radio, it kicks off. So then I think, well, I'll do this. My SWR is still a 1-to-1 with a tuner. I drive 40 watts into it on 10 meters. And then all of a sudden it fluctuates. The SWR goes from a 1.0 to a 1.2 to 3. And it's going up and down. It does about 974 watts for about 2 seconds and kicks off. Then I go and put 15 watts drive and get 399. It never kicks off. Everything I've done, and it just will not, that amplifier will not operate on 10 meters for nothing. Now, I can take an antenna that's matched and will run on 10 meters. And it can have a 1.2 SWR at the antenna with the analyzer. And that amplifier still will not run. It'll kick off. Alright. Here's where it gets stupid crazy. I can put a dummy load on that thing, and a dummy load is the perfect match. It don't make a dang hang where I go, whether it's 6 meters, 10 meters, 12, 15, 17, 20, 30, 40, 75, 80, 160. It doesn't matter. I put a dummy load on it, a 3K dummy load. And I can key up and there ain't nothing. It's absolutely perfect. But these amplifiers, and this is where I need help from all you people out there that might watch this video. Has anyone had any kind of issues with the Ameritron ALS 1306 solid state no tune amplifier? Because if you have, and there's been some kind of issue, or if there's an antenna out there, if there's a in-fed or whatever, and it's an antenna that has a very low SWR, Like I'm talking from 10 to whatever. I want to know about it. Y'all give me some input, guys, please. I need some help here. This amplifier's been driving me freaking crazy. I've already took my R9 down because the Cushcraft R9, what's happened with it is my SWR ratios, and I'll pull the sheet up and I'll tell you what I have recorded, and you will probably flip out on that. Okay, here it is. I got it written down right here. I put that antenna together 2 months ago. And I go outside and I hook the analyzer up to it. And I had, on 6 meters, a 5.7 SWR on 6 meters. That was perfect almost when I put it together. Then I got a 10, and 10's a 1.3 to a 1.8. And when I say these measurements, I'll tell you the first one, that'll be the bottom of the band and the top of the band. 12 meters, it was a 2.3 to a 2.4. 15 meters was a 3.4 and a 7.3. And then 17 meters was a 2.0 to a 3.5. 20 meters was a 2.0 and a 7.7. 40 meters was an 18.6 and a 25. 75 and 80 meters was a 25 at the bottom and a 22 at the top of the band. Now, I don't know if somebody's in here and said anything, and there's not. So I took the antenna down, I put an off-center dipole up, I got to checking the SWR, and the SWR ranges are anywhere between a 1.5-ish up to a 2.2, roughly. So it's kind of like, on 160 meters, it's about a 2 to 1. And as you come down the band from 160 meters and you get to 80 meters on that off-center dipole, it gets down there about a 1.7. And then on 40, it's like a 1.3. Then 20, it's about a 1.2. 17, it's about a 1 to 1. Okay? When you get down there about 15, it starts to go back up, and 15 is like a 1.8 to 1. Then 12 meters is a 1.8, and then 10 is like a 1.8. So it's like it does this, which an off-center dipole should have somewhat of a curve in there. And I'm not knocking the antenna, by no means. Like I said, as long as I ain't running that amplifier, everything's fine. But I am just so torn between the Cushcraft R9 and the aggravation of having to tune it, and the aggravation of trying to keep it tuned, to the aggravation of if your antenna is, if this thing sees a, and I want to make sure I'm pointing at this thing, if this amplifier right here sees a SWR of a 1.5 or greater, even if it's 1.5 to 6 or 1.6, when you key up, this amplifier kicks off. Automatically just shuts off. And I'm at my wit's end. I'm done. I just can't take it anymore. I've tried everything that I can possibly try without absolutely just going to a whole nother antenna system, which I'm about there. I've heard that my antennas is supposed to be, and it's an NVIB. I've heard that's supposed to be a really, really good antenna. Now, I've always liked Maxcons, and I always will like Maxcons because they do work for what they are. It's not working for the Ameritron 1306. And it's just, it's aggravating me because I'm spending more time trying to get the highest WR to disappear than I am getting to talk on the radio. and I've been doing this for 2 months. Like when I do the lives and y'all see me talking on the radio, most of the time it's been a little higher up the frequency. I've got a really low SWR. The tuner's taking the rest of it out, and I've been running the radio in it at about 500 watts or less. So it's done fine. It's done perfectly fine. But for some reason or another, and I wish somebody out there could put something together and tell me something, is there a better way? Because this right here is gonna make me stroke out. This thing's gonna make me stroke out. I'm sorry that I have to put it that way, but it's driving me freaking batty. Ameritron 1306, solid state, no tune, 1.2 kilowatt, 160 to 6 meters, MOSFET amp, runs on 220 volts. The Powstar tuner works fine. The Kenwood works fine. The new Yazoo works fine. There's nothing wrong with what I've got radio-wise. I've already tested everything. I'm going to make sure that, nobody hasn't commented, and nobody hasn't. So I don't even know who's in there. If somebody would say something, I'd know who was in there. But anyway, I really want to get that solved. I hope some of y'all will come across this video. Maybe share with some of your amateur radio friends. Tell them, say, look, listen to the guy's video. If you think it's something you might have an answer to, just please tell me. I'm begging you. Because this thing's getting on my nerves hearing it run. I cannot take it anymore, this amplifier kicking off, because what's going to end up happening is I'm going to call Ameritron, and I'm going to tell them that I have done everything that I can possibly do to get this amplifier as satisfied and happy as possible, and it still kicks off. I got brand new power running from my meter in here, and I had a professional electrician do this job. I looked at it on the meter, and what I'm getting supply-wise, the line that supplies it, everything is well and above everything that it needs to run it to full potential without any issues whatsoever. I just want to know, is there something that somebody knows out there about the Ameritron 1306 and it having a sensitivity issue to high SWR? Because if I can't use it and everything that I'm checking and tried is already fine, and I'll go over the list again since there's somebody else in there. My antenna's fine. It has a range curve of SWR. The tuner will remove all that. The feed line is good. The feed line and isolator that comes in the house is good. The feed line coming in here to the switch is good. The feed line going back to the tuner, it's good. Coming out of the tuner, every single jumper, I'll put it that way, every jumper tested perfect. Okay, everything has tested perfect with no problems, no faulty readings whatsoever, no shorts, no nothing. Radio checks out fine. The radio's putting out. I've talked to California, Texas, Oklahoma, New York, Maine, Florida, Aruba, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, and Alaska. The whole time I've had the 2 radios here. So the radio's working fine. I'm talking 2, 3, 4,000, 6,000 miles with a 5.5 or better. So there's nothing wrong with anything here. It's right here. It's in this amp. And there's got to be something that, somebody may have a thought, an idea, or what it could be. Some of you may say, well, maybe it's just because it's an Ameritron, and you could be very well right. It's just, we don't know. But I'm at my wit's end on it. I've had 2 really good, intelligent radio friends that I've been collaborating with back and forth. I have talked to them. I've got one other friend that's in Florida, and his call sign is N4BUT. I got to collaborate with him. He's very intelligent and smart on electronics and ham radio stuff. I need to collaborate with him a little bit and tell him about everything that I've kind of come to a conclusion on and where I'm at. Maybe get with him and see if I can find out something from him. I don't know anybody else out to reach out to. It's just frustrating. You know, and I love the hobby. I love to talk on the radio, but I don't like it when I can't use the equipment that I bought to use. So it kind of makes it kind of aggravating, you know. You want to be able to enjoy everything that you have and enjoy it to its full potential, but you can't enjoy it to its full potential if everything's all good and that one thing just keeps clicking off, clicking off, clicking off, clicking off, clicking off. And it won't do it except when you get down around 17 meters. 17 meters, if you turn the power up a little bit, you get over 650, 700, it just clicks off. If you start bumping about 750, 800 watts, it'll click off. Now, you can go up to 75, 40, 20 meters, 1200 watts all day long. It won't even miss a lick. But from 17 all the way down to 10, it just gets worse and worse. And 10 being the most unbelievable worse. Like I can turn the radio down to 5 watts, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can go in 1 watt increments if I want to. I can try it in 1 watt increments. And I swear it will just go, once it gets past 10 watts, it clicks off. And then I have to reset it. And all the thing I can say is I hope everybody enjoyed my little rant tonight. And seriously, if you have any ham radio friends that are pretty intelligent on this situation, just forward this video to them and have them look at it. Just tell them to look at it. Say, hey, I think this might be something you can help this guy with. Because I really do. I really need help with this. Because it's, like I said, I'm at my wit's end. I can't keep dealing with it. I'm going to send the damn thing back, and I'm going to send it back in pieces. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just kidding. I feel like it sometimes, but I'm not that type of person. It's just after a while, you know, you just get completely aggravated, completely frustrated. Everything just falls apart. And then after you get through doing everything you got to do, and you find out that it's all here. And I made all of the fine adjustments that you're supposed to make to this thing, and it still will not work. So I'm just as lost on it as the next person. I wish Ameritron, whoever works at Ameritron, would watch this video. Maybe they saw it. Maybe there's something they know or can think about and whatever. But I will say this, and I feel like I'm saying this truthfully. I don't want to sound like I'm trying to be a jackass, but I really think, Ameritron, that this amp right here, this 1306, there's something wrong. Because I've only had this amplifier for just a few months. I work every day. I only get to operate on the weekends anyway, and every time I've tried to use it, it clicks off on some of these bands, and it just will not allow me to do anything. So I've just resorted to spending days and days and days of trying to solve the problem and try to source out every single thing and just keep checking things and checking things and changing things, trying different feed lines, different types of coax, different types of ends, trying to put trying to just changing it. I mean, I spent $1,000 in coax, connectors, switches, ballons and different jumper lengths. I spent $1,000 just to try to solve the problem to fix this amplifier. What I've paid for this amp and what I've spent in trying to troubleshoot it is bullshit. Plain and simple. It's just bullshit. Could have been a ham over 20 years, and I can tell you right now, that is something that if I can't figure it out and another person can't figure it out, between me and them two working together trying to figure it out, there is something wrong with this amplifier. And it's gonna have to go back. That's the only other option that I know. I hate to do that. This is facts, because I can't even get to use it. But anyway, I hope y'all have a good afternoon. And I'll try not to have another one of these rants like this again, but I just felt like I really needed to, because sometimes you have things happen that you just don't have any control over, and you can put every ounce of your energy into it and just completely fall apart. And that's the reason why I'm making this video, is I'm trying to give y'all, the ham radio community, my frustration, so you know that what I'm talking about, this is where I'm stumped and can't figure it out. If y'all can, or you know somebody, or you can forward this video to them, just do it. Maybe somebody knows something that I don't know and the other person don't know. But anyhow, I appreciate y'all being here to listen, and I hope everyone has a great afternoon. And I won't bore everybody with my ranting and raving and all that good crap. But anyway, I hope y'all subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up. I hope everybody has a blessed weekend. And I'll talk to y'all later.